Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV. Yeah, we're still with the Ondo, and we are about to be shown to the illuminated land or something, where possibly an ancient city of the Ascians waits for us. The chieftain has bid me guide your steps to the illuminated land. Come, the way lies downwards. Follow the path of coral and rock and join your comrades below. Emet Selch have made himself difficult to reach, yet every step we take brings us nearer to his stronghold. Let us not linger, lest the XIV suffer for our late arrival. Meeting the Ondo was fascinating. They live just like us in some ways, but act completely different in others. The way they think, the way they play. I'd love to come back here and learn more of their culture. Will the dome last that long, I wonder? Let me talk to my friends. Stupid animal. During the time I've spent helping the Ondo, I've been introduced to quite a few of the local varieties of sea life. Although sea monsters is mayhap a more apt term. Probably best to avoid them if you can. You have everything you need? If that artisan fellow is as skilled as they say, then you may wish to avail yourself to his service every person. If Emet Selch is in the trench, then we'll have to assume he's not swimming in salt water. I wouldn't want to suddenly find ourselves at the edge of Bismarck's bubble with no air to breathe. We are on our way at last. It seems far darker down here, but I not start at a few shadows. We are moving as a group, yes? All are gathered, yes, and I shall describe the path you must take. Enter the cavern beyond, and follow the wall down and down and down. Once at the bottom, find a passage to the northwest, then continue west and west and west. The way is not simple. Keep your friends within shouting distance. Do not stray into the deep. Just before the journey's end, you will find the Caliban Gap, the barrier we placed at its mouth. This obstacle will fade should you raise a hand towards it. We have made it so. A most succinct explanation. We thank you for your guidance. Right, into the depths we go. Too gracious, thank you. Queen? The rocks and corals bunch up by the cavern wall like a staircase of sorts. Be careful, you want to slip from here from up here. Eventually spurts of water could carry you clear to the top again. Not that I'm eager to try it. A shortcut back up here. Our guide bade us travel to the cavern floor and thence to the west. Yet it seems these twisting tunnels defy such simple instruction. Rather than rely on direction alone, I suggest we scout with care and relay the path ahead to those who come behind. The Stoller has forged ahead. Shall we continue our own advance? My rocks drop off sharply here, but I should think the coral thick enough to serve as a bridge. Swish, 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 swish. Serenia, you have a choice of two routes from here. You can either take the long way to the south along the works, or skip along this coral branch as Alice has done. I for one shall be following my sister's example. Well, we're told to go west, right? Not to it. Alice has already gone on ahead. We should catch up to her. There you are. Come on, I think I found the tunnel we're looking for. Here, this must be the barrier the Ondo spoke of. Well, that was rather more arduous than expected. I feel a sudden rush of gratitude for the smooth roads our ancestors cut through the wilderness. It was a treacherous path indeed. Now I believe one of us needs but raise a hand to banish this next obstacle. Serenia, I elect you to do the honor. Gone, just like that. I suppose we should head in. Like as not, this tunnel will be just as perilous as the road we walked to get here. Let's all stay aware of our surroundings, shall we? That is a very long drop. Please no heroic jumps over the edge, Savannah. I don't think my heart could take it. Nay, I'd not want to chance that leap. Hugging the northern wall on the way down seems a wiser proposition. Where thy footfalls, my friend, our road taketh us ever onward, unto ever deeper darkness. Watch your footings here. I wouldn't envy the climb back up if you fell. If we weren't so pressed for time, I should like to explore these side passages. Maybe another day. This is a path that leads to where Alvino was pointing, right? Yeah, okay. But not now, as usual I said.
By the gods!
That is indeed a city.
When the Ondo spoke of a city, I did not think they meant an actual city.
Then we are seeing the same view. The remnants in the Ondo settlement were solid, material structures. But these... everything here pulses with ether. 'Tis an enchantment on a monumental scale.
An enchantment. So not a real city, but an illusion or some kind? Something like that? And I'm lacking about 1 million experience points to turn this in, because I'm not at the 80 with her. That's good. Serenia, did you notice the style of the architecture? It's the same used for the remnants of the caps on the murals painted towers. Look closely. Emet Selch has not simply recreated these ruins. He has layered the semblance of an entire city upon them. God, the magnitude of his artifice is staggering. Though it pains me to admit, we did not fully understand the feats of which an old Ascian is capable. We have found our destination, but how to descend into the city itself? It's big, I grant you that, but cluttered city streets are far more conducive to infiltration than wide open spaces. This will work to our advantage, trust me. You'd think all those tall, dark buildings would be frightening, but for some reason, they just make me feel sad. One cannot blame the Ondo for fleeing the spectacle of these brooding edifices. We, however, have not the luxury of fear. Emet Selch holds the XIV captive somewhere within that vast city. Yet, even if we must search every alleyway, we will find them. It's intimidating, yes, but we have to start somewhere. Why don't we have a closer look at that tower to the southeast? We might be able to reach it from the edge of the trench. By the way, is anyone else reminded of Xanarkand from Final Fantasy X? Imposing doors. Look at the size of those doors. Now I know how pixies must feel. Serenia Shadowstar recognized. Welcome to the city of Amaurot. Will you be riding the lift? What? Did the building just welcome you? Maybe it's not so passing strange. Did Emet Selch not invite Serenia to visit his abode? 'Tis plain thy coming was expected. And where will this lift be taking us? The lift serves every level of Akora Heights, but is presently configured to convey passengers directly to the ground floor. Well, there you have it. In the absence of some few hundred yards of rope, we have little choice but to accept the offer. With emphasis on the we. I'm not about to let you walk into that place alone. Ground floor. Now. As you wish, the lift will shortly arrive. Will arrive shortly. Let's ride downwards. Next stop, ground floor. Facilities include the Bureau of the Administrator, the Bureau of the Architect, and the Capital. If mine eyes do not deceive, we stand in some manner of communal square. Just a moment, I thought I saw something. I just can't believe how tall everything is. Seems peaceful enough, he said, tempting fate. Each of these towers seems a veritable city in itself. Even the Geigers would feel inadequate in such surroundings. It's only at this distance that you start to realize how big these buildings truly are. What did this voice call the city? Amaurot? Look, over there. Is that a person? No, my mistake, that's a giant. Doesn't seem to have noticed us yet. Giant or no, a resident of this place may have much and more to tell us. I say we make the first move. I don't know, you can't just... Ah! Pray excuse my boldness, but might I ask you a few questions? Oh, what adorable costumes. Are you children on an excursion? This district has much to teach you. How odd. That sounded like no language I've ever heard, and yet I understood every word. Just as he understood us. Which district is this exactly? You must be lost, poor thing. You stand in the Polylerite district, wherein lie the institutions most vital to the management of our star. Can you tell us where to find Emet Selch? Ah, I see. You've come to marvel at the workings of a convocation of 14. Hardly surprising, I suppose. The whole world holds its breath as the final days draw near. Our brightest minds race to implement their plans. And you must understand that gaining an audience at this time will be next to impossible. You should hurry home now, before your families begin to worry. Do you need me to walk you back? No, thank you. We will be fine. Very well. Take care, little ones. What was that all about? To my eyes, these people appear as arcane entities. I suspect Emet Selch wove them from aether, much like he reconstructed the rest of the city. The final days. Such words will befit the oblivion described to us by our Ascian foe. A catastrophe of unprecedented scale, which did set in motion the summoning of Zodiac, and thence Heidelin herself. But that happened centuries and centuries ago, didn't it? That man spoke as if they were rushing to avert a disaster here and now. Unless, for these people, the distant past is the here and now. I believe thou hast the right of it, Master Alphino. This ethereal Amaurot and its residents appear to be phantoms of a different age. Emet Selch has resurrected a memory, a moment in time from before the star was sundered. So we find ourselves in a long-destroyed city inhabited by the long-departed. An unusual situation, to be sure, but at least we're able to parley with these ancients. In fact, they seem downright eager to chat. I say we use this to our advantage, split up and strike up some conversations, and see if we can't learn the location of our quarry. And while we're at it, it wouldn't hurt to wheedle out a few more details regarding the convocation of the 14 and the impending disaster. To mingling then. Let's meet back here when our jaws start aching. Good gracious, child, where's your family? You should not be alone at a time like this. Run along home, quickly now. Have you not heard? Though yet confined to the lands across the sea, a terrible phenomenon afflicts our star. They are calling it the final days. 'Tis said it starts suddenly, a cacophonous keening from beneath the earth. The sound distorts all living things within earshot and wrests from us control of our creation magics. Once that happens, all is lost. Fear, pain, despair, every dread impulse is siphoned from our minds and given substance. An eternal fall of fiery rain, an incessant spawning of nightmarish beasts. None can point to the source of the phenomenon. It is as if the star itself has fallen ill, as if a force inimical to life now festers and spreads. It's only a matter of time until Amaurot too resounds with a discordant squall. You should stay with your loved ones, child. Stay with them. Since this over there seems to be a dead end, according to the map at least. When you consider the implications of that latest calamity, it must be truth and trust in the scholars. They will find the solution. Would seem the hall is host to a most precocious visitor this day. And what, pray tell, shall be the subject of our discussion, young one? Ah, the convocation and the handling of a coming peril. 'Tis only natural that you should have questions. Shall we begin with the members themselves? As all know, the 14 are the wisest and most puissant among us. They are the stewards of order, responsible for decisions which keep the star turning season after season. Be it the Speaker La Habrea or the emissary Elidibus, each seat is occupied by an elected sage of surpassing intellect. Logrith, Mitron, Emet Selch, the individual titles have, as a gesture of respect and a matter of tradition, become synonymous with their incumbents. Thus, it is with great incredulity that I greet this recent rumor that a seat in the convocation is soon to be left vacant. If proven true, it would be an unprecedented development, and a testament to the immense pressure under which our saviors are toiling. In any event, I for one am confident they shall deliver our star unto salvation. One can never be too young to take an interest in the rhetorical arts. Welcome, little one. Welcome. How may I help you, little one? Do you wish to peruse the transcripts of the great debates, or would you like to reserve a room for a discussion? We're here to serve your needs. An audience with Emet Selch? I'm afraid you have a wrong office, little one, and besides, he will be far too busy to field the questions of curious children. Surely you have been told of a looming catastrophe? Every resource available to the convocation must be spent upon ensuring our world survives. We have yet to make an official announcement, but it's said the 14 are moving forward with a plan of scarce credible proportions, one which promises to grant will to the very star itself. They will invoke our mightiest spells of creation to birth an entity of all-encompassing magnificence, and then they will rewrite the laws of existence. 'Tis a huge undertaking, and it must be completed ere the corruption spreads this far. Thus I say to you again, do not hold out hope for an audience. 'Tis your first time here. Take a number if you haven't already, then settle in for a good long wait. Welcome to the Bureau of the Architect, little one. I should be glad to assist you in locating the concept you seek after I finish assisting those ahead of you in the queue. This is the Bureau of the Architect, little one. If you require assistance, I should be glad to assist you, but are you certain this is where you should be? Okay, let's return to Alvenholm. Well, that was an experience. I was never very fond of being treated like a child, but it did make asking questions less suspicious. Serenia, if I was not certain before than I am now, the people of the city believe they face the end of the world. I cannot imagine what purpose compelled Emet Selch to recreate this ancient Amaurot. And yet I fancy I hear his words to us echoing through this ocean trench. He would have his story known. Okay, but I think I end this episode here, and we continue next time seeing through Amaurot and learning more about the Ascian history.